Welcome back to our third and final segment of Your Town for this week. And I couldn't be more delighted to have our first female guest. We need many more and plan on having many more because, as far as I'm concerned, it's time for men to start following the women. I was at the Women's March in Washington, D.C., and I knew it in my head and my heart, but it got down in my soul by being there. So it's great to have Lauren Banner here today. Lauren is an artist. She's a poet. She's a community organizer. She's a founder and director of Lovers of Carmel Beach, which we're going to talk about today. She's leader of Carmel Residents Association beach cleanup efforts. And she's proprietor of Carmel Bay Arts, which does very fine, what I'm going to call sustainable wearable art. She's a herbal therapist, and she's a classical Tibetan linguist. So all of this kind of works together in a wholeness. And I think the best way that I can welcome you here is to just ask you to gift us with some of your work. Would you read us a poem? I believe you may have brought a poem.
I would be happy to.
Okay, wonderful.
It's called Carmel Bay. She of the scalloped skirt, abalone shells along your shoreline flicker in the moonlight. Day or night, colors dance on your tawny white dress. She of the scalloped skirt offers treasures in each of her curves. Waves lay down in petal shape, leaving glistening trails filled with beautiful things. One after the other, she undulates gifts at you. She of the scalloped skirt, your cliff hips are alive. Yellow, orange flowers, purple sage, and pink cascade down to the shoreline. So beautiful you are. She with the scalloped skirt, we know your deeps profound. Between your legs, a canyon. Cold water rises, meets warm air. Fog comes. Falcons, sea otters, dolphins, and whales, cormorants, hawks, and gulls, crabs, fish, snails, and limpets, dragonflies, lizards, and frogs. They come together to join you in a big love fest, a choir of voices, life in full swing. She of the scalloped skirt, rocky shores where stone dragons and stone eagles guard the tide pools of my family plot. My father, my sister, my mother. Their bones and shells and parts of each swirl in the tide pool wash. Bone or shell, I cannot tell. She of the scalloped skirt, thank you for letting me lope along your hem, which rises and falls with the tides. Day and night on your tawny white, we live and love and die.
Thank you so much. Well, and that's a wonderful first selection for us segueing into your love for this beach, this area, and particularly Carmel Beach, but other beaches as well around.
Yes.
But particularly Carmel Beach because you were raised here a good bit, and then you went off and had life outside of Carmel, and now you're back here. And I wanted to ask you, to talk about how you were, what the beach meant to you growing up and to your family. And then as you went away and came back, the shape you found it in and what inspired you to begin to do some things to clean it up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I came here in second grade. Went to Carmel River School, Carmel Middle School, Carmel High School. And all that time, every day, there was usually some amount of time down at the beach. So her profiles, the bay's profiles with Point Lobos and the point out at Pebble Beach, were really etched into my soul. And that curve of the bay, I found, held my life. And even when I was gone from it, I left after high school. You know, when you grow up somewhere, you always want to leave where you were raised. So let me out of here. And went away for a while. My parents stayed here, so I came back, always a few times a year, visit them, and over the years. And my father was a diplomat, so he traveled, even before then, traveled overseas quite a bit. So I didn't really understand the importance of place until I went away and recently have returned home to live. My mother was 93 and needed some help, so I came back thinking I was only going to be here for a few weeks. And when I got back here, I was sort of surprised by just how much the place, I felt it in my bones. It was like the curve of that tree, you know, on the street, and the geometry of the place, you know, is really part of my makeup. So on coming back, I started walking the beach as I had always done over the years, and I was really saddened by all the trash I saw on it. It was summertime, and boy, you know, diapers, paper cups, straws, condoms, you know, you name it, just litter. And it seemed like people were kind of, I had gotten accustomed to having so much trash on the beach, and it's a pristine beach, this white. So I just decided I had to do something about it. I was picking up all the trash, and I thought, you know what, I don't want to do this alone. I need some help here. Meanwhile, of course, there are lots of people who walk the beach and pick up trash, let me say, and they've been doing it for decades. So good on all of the people who do it. And there are a lot who don't. You know, they pick up dog poo, but not that extra cup that's, you know, down there. So I started an organization called Lovers of Carmel Beach, and began to, I put up a website and did a Facebook page to try and get people, you know, more involved, and really debated about whether doing a volunteer pickup, you know, calendar, should we pay people to pick up? We're trying to figure out what the best way would be. And somebody mentioned that Carmel Residents Association has a monthly beach cleanup. So I started to help them, and the people that have been doing it for 10 years.
God bless them.
And, you know, we're delighted to have some fresh input, and in fact, over a few months said, hey, you know, how would you like to run this program as well? So I said, great. They were ready to take a break. So I am in charge of the monthly Carmel Residents Association Beach Cleanup, and then also run Lovers of Carmel Beach in coordination with it. We're hoping to have somebody down on the beach twice a week. The city only cleans up once a week, and it's just not enough. I documented, you know, picking up after them and how much trash was still left. And so I think 3 days a week during the summer will be enough, hopefully. Carmel High School.
Yes, talk to me about that, because we had talked about Carmel High getting involved and getting for community service credits that the young folks need anyhow on their transcripts. So.
The high school has, you have to get 50 credits of community service, which is a great program.
Which is great.
And they have a number of different places to choose from how they'd like to do it, but in my view, and as a former student of Carmel High School, running up and down the beach is a great way to get community service in. So they are going to be putting us in their bulletin as a way to get students to come and get their credits. I've partnered with a Carmel Youth Center also, who's been very supportive. The man that runs the youth center, is just wonderful guy, really enthusiastic, really helping the kids do some great things. And so we'll be having a sign-up sheet at the youth center as well for them to sign up. I began raising money to pay kids $25 a pop to walk on the beach. There's a little bit of a, I'm trying to negotiate and figure out how I can do that. Let me go back. The kids who get the credit, the community service credit, cannot be paid for their work. So there may be two different sets. One set of kids that get paid and don't get credit if they want to have that extra $25 in their pocket, and others who just do it for community service. So I'm sort of in the feeling that out right now and figuring out how to negotiate.
But getting them involved, that's fabulous.
You bet. And he said there are a number of students who really go after those community service projects in a really good way. You know, they're very enthusiastic about being involved. So,
Well, I very much appreciate what you say about this beach, and I've just been out. You know this. I've been out on a walk, and I'll look down over a little ledge, and there's Lauren picking up something, you know, and gathering some good stuff off the beach to get it off of there, and to get the trash off. And we were talking about, and I was fascinated by this, that you know, golf balls end up on the beach.
oh my God.
And little bitty small slivers of plastic, not from golf balls, but just plastics that are left on the beach turn into these small slivers you hardly can see.
Yeah.
But they have a major impact on wildlife, et cetera. But I want to put up a pic, if I can, with you with picking up golf balls, and then I want you to tell me how they get there. Can we put that pic up on the monitor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was from
This is a sack of golf balls.
Yeah, it looked like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That was from the the south side, excuse me, of Monastery Beach. I think they came down from Rancho Cañada.
Okay.
And with all the rains
Down the river.
Down the river. And then let out, and somehow they made their way around and back up onto the beach. I came walking down the beach the other day, and the beach was littered. It was the most bizarre appearance of all of these golf balls down the beach. And of course, my husband plays golf, so I thought, great, you know, golf balls. And then, of course, I picked them up and realized they're
trash.
They were just
They're all
trash.
ruined. Yeah.
You know, I would like to say there's a group of kids, there were 2 kids from Carmel High School that recently picked up 10,000 golf balls off of
the
Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
You know, we're part of the Marine Sanctuary,
Right.
the Monterey Bay Marine Sanctuary. And keeping this stuff, you know, it should happen on every beach, but particularly because we're part of this sanctuary, we're really trying to keep this area clean and free of debris. When the beach comes in the wintertime, when the waves come in the wintertime, you know, it washes the beach and it appears clean. But if you walk the beach, what you find is the waves have also brought in tiny little shards of plastic that end up in the animals.
Yes. Here's another pic of some of the trash just found on the beach there in the monitor, you know. And I think the next one illustrates these, you know, inside the wildlife and so forth.
Yeah. And they die from it.
Yes.
You know, their stomachs will get, so they'll just go after something thinking it's food, swallow it, but it's indigestible. And all kinds of sea animals, you know, up to the largest, up to whales, they open their bellies up and just find them full of plastic netting, you know, all kinds of, you know.
And this is something that is so impactful because, you know, you walk down and you can see a beer can.
Yeah.
But you can't see this stuff really unless you're really looking.
Yeah.
And know it's there.
So winter pickup is slightly different than summer pickup.
Right.
Summer pickup is big, you know, big stuff. Right. Winter pickup, I thought we'd get a break in winter. Even I thought, winter we'll take a little bit of break.
Season.
We don't have, no. It's tiny little pieces,
of
you know, and it's better than the gym.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. You have to bend over.
Hey, get involved.
Over.
Yeah. How can people get in touch with you on this if they wanted to volunteer time?
Yeah, go to loversofcarmelbeach.com is the website.
Yep.
My address is on there. I'll have the calendar up for our cleanups.
Sign up.
We're also part of, also on Facebook. There is a dynamic dialogue on Facebook. Just recently I was walking down the beach and there was a big, on Ocean Avenue dune, someone had written in driftwood and seaweed, "resist."
Wow.
And that created quite a stir because some people really resented graffiti on the surface of the dune, and other people loved it because they're politically want to resist what's going on right now. So it was good. There's a lot of dialogue
Get it going.
happening.
Shake it up.
You know?
Yeah. That's lovely. And so the beach itself gives us art. Talk about this photo.
A couple of winters ago, this, you know, the water comes and takes the sand away, and we're left with these beautiful rocks. And lo and behold, this stone woman was
right
revealed.
There.
And as an artist, I think your eye is always trained to see shape and color and form. And somehow this stone woman, I just thought was exquisite.
Yes, there she is.
So there's
great feminine lines. And so, well, now we'll segue into another pick, and this is your abalone shell, custom made, individually made jewelry, wearable art, I call it. And I have an affinity to this because my dad was a lapidarist, and he didn't ever think about setting anything in jewelry. He just loved the stones.
Yes.
And my brother learned silversmithing and goldsmithing when he was a teenager, who was older than I, and then he taught me, and so we actually were making wearable art, and I loved it. So I really love what you do, and I have an affinity for it. Also, it's magnificent. But we're running low on time, so I want to have you back to talk about your artwork with the wearable art, because there's a lot to that we've talked about, how to make that sustainable when you're using raw product from the earth.
Metalsmithing is such a filthy.
And you have some very unique ways of dealing with that, and I want to save them. Save them for next time.
Great.
Now, one thing I will tell the viewers is Lauren told me before she came on today that she had a surprise for me. I have no earthly idea what it is, and I was to leave a couple minutes at the end of this show for Lauren to unveil her surprise. So I'm ready to be surprised, and I'm going to say goodbye to you and turn this over to Lauren to lead us out with a surprise.
Well, I am hoping that AMP TV will accept our nature videos as part of their programming, because we are bombarded with so much fast-paced talking, advertisement, things are flying all around us all the time, that I think it's really important for us to calm down and find that peaceful place in ourselves. And part of that through a visual is looking at nature. So I am going to show a very brief little example, like Caralt does at the end of the CBS morning news. There's a few moments of nature. So I'm presenting this to AMP TV on AMP TV.
Good. Go for it. See, a good artist borrows, a great artist steals.
There you go.
Let's do it. What we've just experienced here is a way to make art on public community television, and to use it as a way to also be kind of a spiritual centering.
Yes.
Rather than just a sound bite or even a program.
Exactly.
But to give us the opportunity to spend some time with a piece of art unfolding over time. It almost reminds me of like Andy Warhol's when he did his movie of someone sleeping for 24 hours. Maybe we'll do that with that's nature too.
There you go.
Okay. So I think we've done it, and I appreciate it. You're going to have to come back.
All right, I'll be coming.
All right.
I will.
All right. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kit.
You bet.